This video is going to be on fixing the Frigidaire ice maker, and this will also work on many other brands besides Frigidaire. Now, on this ice maker, it should make cubed, and it should do crushed, and it doesn't do that anymore. All it does is cube. I'm going to press cube over here, and we'll get some cubes coming out. And this thing likes to jam now because all the ice pieces are sticking together. When I press the crushed, it's not going to crush it anymore. It used to, but no longer. Why is this happening? Everything was going fine until I went to push the ice maker drawer in, and this piece fell out. I'm sure if you're having this problem, you might have this broken piece and you're wondering, where did this come from, and what do I do with it, and how do I make my crushed ice work again? That's why you're watching this video. So please do a thumbs up, a subscribe, and a like if my videos help you out. If you want to donate to my channel, ask for my PayPal. It would be a lot cheaper than calling a repair person to do this. And if there's a product you want me to review, if I can get a hold of it, I'll do a review video. So here we go. This is the problem. This is the piece that allows the ice maker to make crushed ice. So what you're going to have to do now is take your ice drawer out, and we're going to take it apart and replace the part that this goes to. Since I'm recording this, this might take me a couple days to do, so I am going to remove the ice drawer. And I'm going to save the ice because I don't know how long it's going to take me to get this thing finished. And then the next step is you want to turn off your ice maker because you're not going to have an ice drawer in there while you are doing this. So what you want to do, sorry it's so dark, what you want to do is you want to take, on mine I just removed this drawer, this little slide piece, and up at the top back, let's zoom in, there is a switch back there that turns on your ice maker and turns it off. It's right up at the top over there. And so I'm going to flip the switch now to stop the ice maker. I've got it pressed to 0. On a switch, 0 is off, the line is on. So my ice maker is off now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to replace that part in the ice drawer. I've got the ice drawer on the table right now, so I want to zoom around a little bit so that you can see what this looks like in case after you take it apart you are not able to figure out how to put it back together. So we've got the back over there. That's the left side. This is the back of the unit. That little lever over there is the activation for the ice. And this goes into the very back of the refrigerator, that little two-piece spoke thing over there. And this is the important thing. We're going to be taking these screws off that are inside here. We've got some screws that we have to take out because we have to get to the piece that's inside here that is broken. This is the bottom. I'm going to zoom in so you can see how this works. I don't think we're going to be messing with most of this, but just in case, if you want to see the pictures, you can refer back to the video. If you have a cell phone and you want to take photographs of your own unit, that would make a lot of sense because you might not be able to put it back together easily without photos. And the part that we're going to be replacing is right inside there. That is the area with the blades where it does the crushed ice or the cubed ice. And that's where that broken piece came out, which we'll see in a minute. We need to remove the front part of this unit so that we can get to the part that we're going to replace. So we are going to have to remove the two screws that are inside this unit. Don't mix them up. They might be the same as the other screws, but don't mix them up. You're going to remove these two screws inside the ice box, and then we're going to turn this thing upside down and we have two more screws on the front, that one over there and that one over there, and I don't know if I'm going to be removing that one and that one first. We'll find out in a minute. Going to be removing the screw on the right. You don't want to strip the heads on this, so make sure that you have a screwdriver that has a wide enough blade. I've got a long handle on this if you want to use a short-handled screwdriver. If you have smaller hands to reach inside here, that would be fine. Going to remove the left screw. One thing I noticed about these videos, a lot of people complain saying you could have done that in 3 minutes instead of 20 minutes. So if you don't want to watch the 20 minutes or 40 minutes, then just turn it off and benefit from somebody else's video. But leave nice comments if you appreciate what's coming on here. So I've done the two screws on the inside, and that is loosening the top part. Now we're going to turn this over. And I'm not sure if I need to remove these bottom screws. That would look like the whole unit will come out, but I'm just going to take off the front screws now and see if that does what I need. Allows me to get in to replace the part. So I'm removing the left screw. And this whole area over here, this is the tricky part, right in there. So let me zoom in so you get an idea how this works. That's positioned over there, locked in place now, and if we zoom in over here, that's kind of locked in place also, not really moving. Okay, this last screw is done, so I'm going to take off the front cover now and we'll see what I have in here. Front cover is off, as we can see over here. I'm going to take this out of the way now. And this is what we have. We've got a lot that we need to do because we have to go in here and replace the part. I'm going to show you what it looks like now. Got the Electrolux Frigidaire Tappan, Westinghouse Kenmore Gibson. They all use, most of them use the same part. So, take this out of the package. This is the part that we are replacing. That's the part that broke off. Let's find it right over there. You see it? This is what broke off. A little piece over there. And that is what allows this to do regular ice or crushed ice. So we need to replace, you could glue this on, I wouldn't do that. Even if you're using food grade adhesive, I would not even consider doing that. But that is the part that's being replaced, the exact same part. So what we need to do now is we have to get this part off of here. Now on this model, all I will be doing is I'm going to be removing this screw, it looks like. That will allow this piece to come off. I'm going to have to take off this clamp here, which I will do with a regular screwdriver. It's just a standard C clamp. You put a screwdriver in here, you pry down, make sure you don't break anything. You take that off so this spindle will come out. And I'm probably going to have to take off this nut over here. I don't believe that I'm going to have to take this off or this off. That is the metal bracket that stays on the back. I might have to, but I would rather leave everything alone if I can. And I would also prefer to leave all the blades alone so that I don't cause a problem. They have to be put on in a certain direction and lined up properly. So let me take off this nut. This is a screw, or is it a screw? It's a nut, probably a 1/4 inch nut and a 1/4 inch nut. And then I'm also going to have to take off this, as I said, clamp. I'm going to put a wide blade screwdriver. It doesn't look like it's going to be that difficult to pry this one off. I could be wrong though, because these are on fairly tight, and you don't want to break the cam. You don't want to crush your cam. Normally, you would go in here and just pry down and pull down. You don't want to slam this into your finger, into your table. Sometimes with the smaller ones, you can go in over here and press down, but this is a very heavy-duty clamp. And as you can see, the spindle is turning, so it's not easy to do without causing some damage. I don't know if you can see over here, I've got my thumb placed down here. I've got my thumb placed down here for some leverage, and I'm going to pry down. I might use 2 screwdrivers. I might have to use 2 screwdrivers. Ugh, that's really on there tight. I'm just going to try to use a lot of force and try to snap this thing off. Yeah, that's the problem. It's indented over here, so it wants to lock into place. It's almost off. It's starting to move, I think. Ah, boy, is that on there tight. Just keep wiggling, go back and forth. I think that's still in the video. Just go back and forth, side to side. It looks like it's moved a little bit. Just be careful you don't jam this into your thumb, like I'm very close to doing. I don't know if I've moved it at all. Very hard to tell. Yeah, it looks like it's starting to move now. If you don't want to watch me struggle with this, go fast forward or turn the video off. Yeah, it's definitely moving, but I'm going to finish this off with turning off the camera because I don't want to waste everyone's time, and I'm going to have to turn this on its edge so that I can snap this thing off. Let's see if I can get over here in this direction and pry a little bit more. I think it's already almost off, which I keep saying, but I think it's almost off. Maybe it's not off at all. If you're lucky enough to have the tool that removes these things, good for you. There it goes. Okay, now it's starting to move. I was going to just finish it without the video, but there's a washer underneath here also. You don't want to lose the washer. We're almost there. As I said, it's indented over here, so it's kind of stuck at this point. I don't want to put this through my finger. Don't damage the washer underneath here. You don't want to bend it. So the video is going to be a little bit longer than I expected now. We're almost there. All right, it went flying on the floor. I'm going to put a little marker over here. A little marker over here, just for my benefit. And this was facing this way, so I'll do that. And we have the washer, it doesn't matter over there. So everything's marked off right now. And now, can I lift this up? No, because I still have the bolts over here. So I have 1, 2, 3 nuts that I'm going to have to remove. And your model might have a 4th nut. You might only have 3 nuts. And some people might only have 2 nuts. And just to make things easier for myself, I'm going to put a mark over there that there is a nut over here. A nut over here. Doesn't want to mark. Does not want to mark because it's wet. There's a nut over there. Okay, so there's just, on mine, there's not a nut on the bottom left. Now I'm going to remove this. These are 1/4-inch nuts. And the only tricky part might be putting this piece back at the end. But we'll deal with that later. That's the whole point of making a video, so you can see how this goes together, how it comes apart. So I'm removing 1 nut. I said there was a nut at the top over there. There are no washers underneath these nuts. At least on mine there aren't. So I'm taking off the 3 nuts. And then I believe this will just come off. It's no longer being held on the spindle. The only thing that we're going to have to deal with is that little rod that I showed you on the right. That is what we need to deal with. And again, be careful. You don't want to force this on the table and break it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to lift this up now. Can I zoom out? I'm going to lift this up and see what happens. And as I expected, we're going to have a little bit of a problem removing this thing. And the only problem is going to be just getting this rod out of here. I didn't look to see how it attached, so I don't really know. I should have looked. But it is inside this piece over here, so I'm just going to pull that out. I think we'll be okay. I don't know if you saw this little ice piece moved. I don't want to... It doesn't look like it's going to come off, so this is how the old piece went on. And here we have the broken piece. Kind of interesting that they've got markers, green markers on here, and there's a black marker on there. I don't know why. So now I'm going to get the new unit and mount it back on. And as we look at this, this is the piece that's broken that I put back in here. And so with the piece that's broken, when this piece is attached, this thing slides back and forth, and it's on this rod, and that is what is controlling the crushed ice or regular ice. So we've got the working piece over here, the new one. And that already has probably where this metal clip is going to go. So we're going to put this all back together and then try to figure out how this clamp must go into this piece over here. Let me figure that out, and then I'll show you what it looks like in the video. Here we go. We're going to try this again. We are going to take this and raise this hook up, and it needs to go into this little floppy piece over here. So we're going to turn this thing up, and we are going to get it to go in there. A little easier for me to work from this position, even though I don't have 3 hands. So we're going to turn this lever up. We're going to get this part down in here, get this floppy piece over there. We're going to get this to go into this opening that it doesn't want to go into. But we'll get it in there. We will get it in there. I don't want to break this little knob over here. So I'm going to have to turn off the camera so I can maneuver around without the camera tripod in the way. And I'll show you what it looks like after it's in there. There it is. I've got it positioned in there. We want that in the slot. Did I just lose it? I think I lost it. And then after that, you just need to get this back on the spindle. I think I lost it already because it's jamming into the cable as I'm trying to get the video camera there. Did I get it in there? It's still, I think it's still in the slot. Okay, I'm not going to be able to do this with the camera on there because I'm trying to keep it in the slot, and this is in my way. Did I get it? Okay, I got it. Okay, see, it's still in the slot. I've got the piece down there, and that is what you want. So I thought I was going to have to shut off the camera, but I guess I don't have to. What I'm going to do really quick is, while it's in position, is I'm going to get a couple of these bolts in here. Hopefully that lines up because I can't see what I'm doing. I don't know where that is. No, I'm way off. This piece over here has to go into this notch, so I'm way off. And I don't even know if this is going to work because the blades are flopping around in there. They're kind of jammed in there. I think I've got the screw hole lined up now. Is it going in there? I think it's in there. Let's do a little tighten down. Yeah, it's in there. So I'm going to go to the other one at the top. Get that lined up. I think there's somebody online that's got this video. He does it in about 10 minutes, 5 minutes. But, you know, it's really nice watching people who do this for a living. It's always better to watch somebody who does not do it for a living so that you see what problems you're going to run into. That video, he just cranks this thing together in 2 seconds. So, it doesn't really help somebody like the average person who has not done this before, doesn't know why it's not going together. So you saw me struggle with this for a while. That's what you're going to have to deal with. I'm going to tighten the third screw down. I don't even know if the mechanism is right. I'm not sure if anything's going to work in there yet. But I wanted to get this thing tightened down first. Let's see if anything works in here. I don't know. I just don't know if it's going to work. Everything seems to be okay. So it's tightened down. If it doesn't work, I'm going to be tearing this thing apart again. All right. Where is the screw and the washer? Did it drop on the floor? I have no idea if this is going to work. Got my piece down here. Not that it matters. Remember, I had the black line over there. So, I'll line it up again. Put that over there. And then we have the black line down here. This is probably going to be the hardest part now. Well, okay, push up, reach inside, push up so that you get your spindle And these are always, you saw how hard it was to take off. These are always hard to put on because you have to push upward, and it's a lot of pressure, and if you use a screwdriver, the thing could go flying across the room, or the screwdriver could slam into your hand and really hurt you. So let's see. Turning this around again. We're just going to do it opposite of how I put it on. And go slowly. Raise it up a little bit. Go side to side. Yeah, that's the problem. When I go to press over here, I end up lifting the washer up, and when I'm pressing here, I can't hold the washer down and raise this up because I don't want to. All right, there, we're doing good. See, but this thing could slam right into your finger and really hurt you. So just be careful. Be really careful. Some people might take a channel lock and go and squeeze that. This is plastic. You might not want to do that. You might damage it. I might have to. I don't have to. So I've got the washer on now, and everything seems to be spinning properly. Washer's moving. C-clamp is not moving. It's locked in place. This piece moves in the back of the refrigerator. Now it is spinning properly. And so all we have left are the blades that are in there that only go in one direction as long as you didn't take everything apart. Everything looks like it's going to be fine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go clean this thing because it's probably dirty from the new piece that I put in and my hands and all the thread pieces that might have come off. So I'm going to wash this and then put it in the freezer. A couple of things that are really important, and that might be why this piece broke. When you take out the tray, anytime you take out your ice tray, always remove that top piece. And before you put the tray back in, you need to make sure that your tray is lined up on this and that your little metal piece fits into this opening properly. If it doesn't, you're probably going to break something like I did. So the this shelf should always come out when you take out the tray, put the tray back in, then put the shelf on. And make sure you turn on your switch for the ice maker before you close everything up. So I'm going to go take the ice, I'm going to go put it in the tray now and plug this thing in, and we'll see if it goes together and what happens. I still don't know if this is going to work. Not sure how much I can show of this, but I am almost lost my ice unit. Okay, so it's filled up with ice now, and I'm going to line this up on here. And when you've got the shelf, you can't do that. You cannot do that. I don't even know if I'm putting this in right. I'm putting it in right? Yeah, I am. It looks so weird now that I have this thing apart. Like I don't even know what I'm doing. And you can see now that I'm going to, I don't even remember this thing. Is this right? This seems so weird. It just seems all weird. And on the top, you see that little white flapper over there? You've got to raise that up. If you don't raise that up, you're going to break that thing. That's another thing that people do, and you end up breaking it. You've got to raise it up and then slide in your drawer. I don't think I can show that on here. It just looks so weird to me now. I don't even remember this metal, I don't remember this piece. I'd have to look at the video. And so on the bottom, remember I showed you, you gotta make sure you get your, spin the wheel if you have to line it up in the back, and make sure you get that little lever piece going in the right way. This just looks so weird to me. Okay, it's seated in. Yeah, I don't even remember this part right now. I don't know why. Oh, yeah, because I'm missing the front cover. That's why it looks so weird to me. All right, hold on. Boy, I feel foolish that I didn't put that cover on those 4 screws before. Now this is how it goes. Okay, now this feels a little more normal. Raise up that white flapper over there. Oh, I better not drop this and break everything. This is okay. That's done. And make sure that it seats in on the bottom down there. It's going to line up. Okay, it's seated. It is seated. That's what I wanted. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go flip on the switch over there, put in the shelf, and see if we get some crushed ice. Everything is closed up the way it should be. Let's test it out. The ice is starting to drip already. It's melting from being out for so long. Here's the big test, people. It's either going to work or not work. Let's go to cube, which we had before. Let's do water to make sure the water's working. Okay, water's still working. Let's go to cube. Boy, am I worried about this. Well, that kind of worries me because it's making crushed ice instead of cube, so I might have put this in the wrong lever. Wrong crush. Now we have crushed. Let's go to cubed. I'd rather have crushed than cubed anyway. It's still giving me crushed. Okay, so the thing's probably in the wrong slot down on the bottom. Let me check. If it doesn't work, then I'm just going to leave it a crush because that's really what the whole point of this was about. Let me see if I can fix this. Yeah, I took it apart and it was binding. So what you really need is I'm going to go from the back and show you that when that lever is working the right way and it's not binding, that's what should be happening. When I tighten you can see when I tighten it down, it starts to bind. Something is weird on this one, and it's causing it to bind a little bit. So I'm going to have to figure it out on mine. You might run into the same problem with yours. I don't know why it's binding. I'm not sure yet. But if this thing, as you see now, if this is not moving smoothly, if it locks up like that, you're going to get crushed ice and you're not going to get cubed ice. So this has got to move freely. This is the problem, and I think it's intentional. When you tighten everything up, see it's not even pressed against the bottom yet. When you tighten everything up, it's going to bind. So sooner or later, you're going to crack this part. If I go to torque this thing down and line it up the way it should be, shouldn't be happening. So I'm going to go clean this thing up, close it up, but make sure that if you run into this problem, you might have to file this down a little bit. I wouldn't file it down too much, or put some spacers in there so that you pull this away a little bit. But if it's going to bottom out, you're going to have a binding problem. It's kind of working right now. I'm not sure if it's going to work inside the freezer, but I had to do a lot of filing. I cannot tighten this screw down all the way. If I had some washers to put underneath all three of these, that would probably make this work, but it was binding. And I don't know if I got a bad part or if just the whole thing is designed the wrong way so that it's going to cause it to break, but it was binding against this plastic piece. You can see that. That's where I did all that filing over there on the plastic. And that is the door that does the crushed ice or block ice. It's kind of binding right now a little bit, but not too bad. It binds right here, but it snaps back. So I'm not going to tighten this up. If you run into this problem, make sure that this is spinning freely. If it isn't, you're not going to get your crushed ice or block ice. You might just get crushed ice and you might get blocked ice. Or block ice, not blocked ice. So it just depends. Again, this is going to have to stay loose. If I had washers, I could raise this whole thing up and it would clear this. I could have removed this and filed the metal. Might have been a little easier in the long run than filing the plastic and making it weaker, but I didn't want to do that. So I'm going to wash this very carefully, put it back in, and we'll see if it fixes it. I just want everyone to know this young lady is not happy that I am spending all this time trying to put this part on here and not give her attention. So I'm going to get this thing all wrapped up so I can take her outside. Hey, baby. Boop, 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 boop. That's my girl, my little rescue dog. Oh, all right, we're almost done. You might not run into the problems that I ran into. The screws on this thing to put it back together, nothing wanted to line up. Very poorly made. The alignment was terrible. Everything was binding. As I showed you, I filed the piece. If this thing's not moving, if this is binding, it's kind of binding a little now. If this is not moving freely, you're not going to get your crushed ice or block ice. So I'm going to put this in there now. I'm going to fill it up with ice, put it in, and it either works and I'm happy, or it doesn't work and I'm happy. And I got the tray plugged in, pushed in. The little lever on the bottom, I don't know if you can see that, is lined up in that little hole down there. You probably can't see that. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. No, you can't. That thing in there, this needs to be in the slot. If it's not in the slot, you're in trouble. Push your drawer in, make sure this lever is up, turn on the switch over here. Now I'm going to put my shelf back on and test it out. The ice is all melted, so I don't know if this is going to work at all. We already checked out the water. Am I going to get cube ice? I'm pressing the cube right now. Cubed ice. Now, as I said, some people are going to complain about my videos that they take too long. Well, usually I make videos like this for people who end up with problems like this. And let's put it on crushed and see if it fixed it now. Haven't had crushed ice in about 4 months. Now I've got crushed ice. So the difference between watching this video and the video of the other people is you saw what could happen, what might happen, and how to fix it. And believe me, that is definitely worth a donation to my channel if it saves you from a big problem. Thanks for watching. Do a thumbs up, a subscribe, or a like. Watch my other awesome videos. And, hey, good luck doing this job.